What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog coming in here today. I just wanted to do this one for you guys. This is not a Barack Obama bashing video. I want you to know that from the get-go. If that's what you're looking for, please exit. What I want to talk about is Barack Obama opened the door to the other America. The other America that people, now as they look on Instagram and they look at people making $100,000 a year and they make 30 and 40, they're getting angry because it's a doorway to this other America. Why was Barack Obama the picture of this anger? He was a black guy. And then they brought in thousands, if not 4,000 or so, other black and Latino and Asian people who were upper middle class. And Americans in that moment go, well, wait a minute, he's not American. He's not American. Why? Because they were not a part of this America. They began to say, he's not American because I'm not a part of that America. I'm feeling left out. So therefore, this part of America doesn't exist to me. But that right there is the beauty of America. You could live in Chicago, you can live in DC, you can live in New York, you're making $100,000 a year, and that's your norm. There are people who in their whole life will never meet some of the 1.6 million or 2.6 million really wealthy black business owners in America. They'll never meet them. They'll never encounter them. And I talk about this because when I fly on planes and people are like, oh, what do you do? Do you have kids? I go, no, I don't have kids. Where's that coming from? That's already coming from the narrative that black women have kids, right? Or if I say I own a business, you own a business? How? Right? You know, it becomes this very intense stare down. And so I wanted to bring these three books real quick to give you an idea of some of the context I'm talking about today, but not a ton. It is Disintegration of Black America by Eugene Robinson. This book is, to this day, very important. It talks about the 4 types of classes out there. You have this one, Multi Streams of Income, the classic, the original version, the classic version. Also, we have Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. I think if you're going to get any of the Robert Kiyosaki books, it's just this one. All the rest to me are fluff. This is the only one that's truly breaks it down and talks about things in the real way. I think the rest are just absolute fluff. So anyway, I'm gonna get over here and share my screen with you guys tonight because I know you ain't come here to look at my house. Let's go ahead and share the screen. Alrighty. And this is what I'm gonna kick it off with. Obama to visit upper middle class black LA. Now, why were people upset about this? Because this isn't their America. This is this other America. This is the West Coast. This is the England. This is the other people. Hey, Alvin Hollander. Hey, Ray LLC. Hey, Logic Reign Supreme. Hey, Radiance Music. So why did they get mad about this? Because it became this other America that they're not a part of, right? And even black people were mad. Why? Because, again, if you read about this place, it's called View Park. I highlighted it right here. It's an upper middle class area in South Los Angeles that is majority African American. Isn't it black people? Why y'all mad? Because it's not everyday Americans. It's a sliver of everyday Americans. But that's who Obama was. He was a person that's in a whole different class. Now, it says the median income in View Park is $80,000 a year. And half the residents have degrees. But the low income and the high crime neighbors are less than 2 miles away. Now, why is this important? Why is this important? Because it shows this was the beginning of when, this is towards the end, this is the second administration, this is 2016, this is 2012. But what happened is people were like, where are these areas he's going to? This doesn't include me. This is another type of America, and I'm upset about it, right? And the part they should have been thinking is, well, gosh, I need to get to know some of those Americans. Okay, so here's the next one. And this is 2016. Why 2016 is the year of the angry white male. So there's a book called Angry White Man, and it's true. Because I think with Barack Obama, when they saw all these minorities who were upper middle class, making more money, living in these homes, going on these vacations, and they didn't play football, and they weren't a news reporter, they weren't an actor, well, this has to be fraud. This has to be fraud, right? And immediately I knew that's what it was. It was the awakening of America has left me behind. But America never left them behind. They thought America left them behind because they thought, how are all these black people that are supposed to be poor making hundreds of thousands of dollars? And I'm not. I'm living in Ohio. The factory closed down. I can't afford my house payment. I have a pickup truck. I mean, I'm doing stereotypes here, but I'm being really honest. This is the same thing that's happening with millennials. Don't worry, I'll get to millennials in a second, because a lot of them are going to college and they're seeing people start make these startups and seeing people work on Wall Street. Well, honey, if you know anything about Wall Street or these startups, a lot of these people are going to colleges right down the street from Wall Street. In college, they're going to New York schools that cost $50,000 a year. I mean, the admission to get in is technically how they get in, right? They're being elbow deep with sons and daughters of senators, sons and daughters of congressmen. They're being neck deep with people who father works on Wall Street, they will work on Wall Street. Father works insurance, hey, I'll hire my buddy. And I'll tell you this, I know 2 Black fraternities in North Carolina where every guy worked at Wells Fargo. It used to be Wachovia, but then it merged. They worked at Wells Fargo as a loan operator. And you would talk to some of the guys like, what is your degree in? English, communication? Oh, but I took a certification in my senior year to do this, to be a loan mortgage operator. Now, why is that important? Because it shows it's a who you know, not what you know, right? It is a class versus I went to school and got good grades, right? A lot of these people had the in. Now, why is this important? Because there was an article talking about African American and Hispanic people won't have any assets, or basically be broke in about 50 years or so. How is that? When right now Hispanics and African Americans are making some of the highest pay they've ever made in American history. They're making awesome gains. How is that possible? No investments. That's the difference. That's the difference in these Obamas and these Trumps and these second generation and third generation kids. Trust me, I went to East Carolina University and I sat in classrooms with people who this is their third generation, and they were Black, third generation, being from Washington, D.C., going to East Carolina University. Already had the hookup on a job going back to D.C. and didn't really care. Like, I'm here to get my degree and I'm here to roll out. I'm here to get a cheap degree and roll, essentially is what they were doing. And so right here, as I'm going down in this article, it talks about the angry male, and it's like the angry white male. No one can deny the terrible things done to Blacks: slavery, discrimination in jobs, housing, poll taxes, the white only signs. All those things are real, right? These aren't fake things. These are real things. But here's the thing. They're coming to a thing where their sons are like, well, is that fair? Do I have to make up for what my grandpa did? Or some of them, what my dad did? To a degree, no. You don't have to make up for what your dad did. But what you have to realize is that is coming, that blowback comes on you when you see people like Obama on TV. When you see wealthy people of other races on TV and you're frustrated. Look at right now in America, the wealthiest person in America is an Asian person, an Asian couple, an Asian business owner. Why? Assets. This all goes back to assets. So yes, we can put every single Black person in America in $80,000 a year jobs, but guess what? Like, it'll all come out to wash. They'll either be eyeballs in debt or they'll either be wealthy. Why? Because of choices, because of asset purchasing. So this channel is open to everybody. I have white clients, I have Hispanic clients, and I thank all of you for watching this channel. So this isn't a tirade today. This is just me pointing out the difference in class and race. Like, you guys can change your future. You can change your kids' future. You can do whatever you want, right? So study shows that Blacks and people of color are relatively happy and kind of satisfied with the current, they have some unrest issues, but economically okay. But all of a sudden, there was a massive amount of suicides. Who was committing suicide? White middle-aged Americans. Why? Why? It could be depression, this could be anger, this could be suicide. No jobs. They got a crappy job. People hate me, I'm gonna say it, but the whole MGTOW movement is, I'm a young man and women only want people for money and I don't have money. So I'm angry. So I'm going my own way. Take that feminism and that materialism out of my face. Now, people may get angry if I say that, but it's the truth. That's really what that's about. Okay, so again, in other words, for your typical middle-class American, life sucks. They don't have any money, their mobility is sucking, they're having to send these kids to these expensive colleges, and then they're having to pay for grandma and grandpa's treatment. So you can read the rest of this article, it's from Fox News, so judge what you will. But again, here's another one, talking about Oak Bluffs. It's a well-to-do summer haven. It's for the elite, right? It's for, these African Americans in Martha's Vineyard. They've been there. They love this area. They don't have a, you know, when you're like, Obama's going to Martha Vineyard. Of course he is. There's a ton of other Black people there too. There's actually, I can't find the article, but I was looking for it. There's a dance, there's a couple dances and balls that happen every year. And it's with the most wealthiest African-American families in America. You can only get an invitation to it. It's been going on since the 1920s. A guy wrote a book on it from New York. They hate him for writing it, but it's like, it's called like Skin Like Mine or People Like Us. And it's a Black guy. And he's basically talking about families who've had wealth since the 1920s. Now, who are those families? They're Black funeral homeowners, they're Hispanic funeral homeowners, they're Black, you know, grocery stores, all, you know, Black doctors who came back when World War II happened. Several African Americans went to the historically Black colleges, and they became who's who of America. Because 3 or 4 years later, when other African Americans tried to go get there and use their GI Bill, they were turned down. So, you know, America kind of created some of this mess here. And these people went on to live their lives. They went on and had service businesses. They went on and kept on going. And this is just what happened, right? So this is Martha's Vineyard for Black people. I think this is a very, look at these houses. They're old. You're like, who would want to live here? But it's not about this. It's just the fact that that house is probably worth $1 million. It's ugly, but it's probably worth $1 million, $2 million. You know, they're purposely not fixing them up. They're calling them historic, you know, kind of conversation. And they're living in some other part of Martha's Vineyard. But look at him. You know, he's at a farmhouse he's rented every 20 years. This guy, Burton Jordan. This is a serious thing. People hate this. Right? Look at it. 1920s, 1950s. You know, it became the vacation spot for upper middle class Black people. They hate this shit. You know, this is a video where I just want to show you that there's a million ways to be American, and people hate it. People just freaking hate it. They hate that they feel locked out. And that's why I made this channel. I made this channel because I would share my family experiences and people would look at me like I had 3 heads. I'd be like, oh yeah, all my family are police officers and military people, and we own restaurants and we own, you know, tire shops and we own this and that. And they'd be like, what? You better stop lying, girl. I'd be like, no, here's our farm. What? Girl, you a lie. And so you'd have to just go, okay. Like, that's just their world, you know? Like right now, the other day I was online and somebody was saying, we need to have Black hair distributors. I literally Googled 1 second and I put a list up. I said, there they are. There's over 200 companies right there who all are Black owned hair distributor warehouse owners. And the lady immediately was pissed with me. Like how dare you ruin this, you know, rallying cry of this thing doesn't exist. It does exist. It just doesn't exist for you. And I'm gonna say something here that's very unpopular. Whenever I hear a woman say there's no good men, I go, they're running away from you. When I hear a man say there's nothing but raggedy gold digger women, I'm like, you don't have any gold to dig. And plus, if you're looking for the woman with her butt hanging out in the mall, that's probably a sign she's a gold digger hoe, you know, right? People don't want to talk about that, but it's who you're attracting. You're bringing that funky negative energy. So whenever I hear Black or white men go, there's no good women. Where are you looking? Same thing with women. When they say that, you're bringing this energy. So when people say Black upper class Black people, where are they at? I've never met them. I don't go to school with them. Of course not. You go to school in a Section 8 community. They're not going to be around you. That's why I showed that book in the beginning. Like, the disintegration of America is for real. Like, this book talks about 4 types of people who pretty much never interact. I mean, there are middle-class Black neighborhoods in Maryland that me and my mom drove in. People looked at us like, what are you doing here? And we were just like, whoa, we've hit the wrong, we hit the wrong place, right? So again, all this right here, all this, these articles. And if you go on my Facebook page, if you follow me anywhere, I'm going to put all these in an article, and I'm going to put these also in under the comments under my post today, because I think they're just super important. Let me see. Where's the other one? I think it's this one. Let me see. All right. So here's another one. Like, I just think these articles are important for me to share. I'm going to read over some of what you guys say while this is pulling up. All right. Triggered Nation. Yes, Alan, that's what they are. But class is becoming stronger in a race and has been a tool of class division. Very cool. Very true. Isel Awesomeness. Tanisha, it is so sad that we never learn about how to acquire assets in school. It is. But here's the thing. Every time I bring this up to this day, people say, well, your parents should teach you that. Again, what can your parents teach you if they don't know? And also, it's also a reinforced ignorance. I've had people in my family, when someone's in our family says, well, I'm not gonna go do the army, I'm gonna go to college and do this and this and this. They look at them like they're a three-headed dragon. Now, why? Because our family has staunchly participated in the military, use the VA loan to get the first home, come back, do police or do a small business, and then move on to your next home. So now you have a rental in your pocket, and then you just keep on adding, right? So whenever people break out of the mold of their family, imagine if all my family lived in the projects, and then somebody wanted to move across town in a really rich house. They'd be like, girl, why are you living over there? I mean, I'll give you a prime example. We have some distant cousins that live in Alabama for the military and lived in this really richy, nice side of town, which to her was like, this is just bare minimum nice. And that cousin, the first thing out of her mouth was like, why are you living over there with those white people? And my mom laughed because half the neighbors were black. She's like, what are you talking about? There's black people all around me. So it's really a reinforced thing. And this was a distant cousin. We don't really mingle with them. Like their grandparents moved to Alabama, and the grandpa did great, and then the kids just did crappy because they didn't teach them anything. So I mean, again, it's all about what does your parents teach you? What are they reinforcing? Even every time I talk about a new business idea or buying a rental somewhere, my mom's like, I wouldn't buy that. It has the same type of income. She's like, she's like making 6 figures a year and goes, well, I wouldn't do that. Well, of course, Mama, you wouldn't do that. You're in retirement. You're in a different position in life. Okay. So here's another thing. Okay. Izelle, I'm looking to buy a house now and 3 adults will split it. Well, Izelle, you can always rent your rooms out. You can always, I mean, here's the real truth of this. And people hate me when I say this, but if you just get your income up for 6 months and can prove it on paperwork, get business lines of credit from your bank or get business credit cards, like the sky's the limit for you, right? And I'm going to show it in this video. If you guys stick with me, I'm going to show you one of the links. I'm going to show you what example I'm talking about of how people can invest and how you don't have to have 100,000, you have 10,000 or a little bit, right? So it's one of the clicks up there. So anyway, so this article I don't believe in. It's called Solidarity. It's very socialist, feminist, anti-racist, but they're basically complaining about Obama forgets about the Black community. Really what they're saying in this article is he forgets about some poor people. So it's not just poor white people, it's poor white people too. So a lot of these people are mad because they thought, well, once Obama gets in there, we're going to have this, amazing thing where he's going to lift all of us out of poverty. That's crazy. Your choices of your behavior, of your life, when I talk to people about moving to Houston for work or going to get a truck driver's license, you would be surprised the pushback I get. I don't want to be no damn truck driver. Okay, so you don't want to make 50,000, depending on what you're doing. If you're doing local, it's 50,000. If you're doing across country, 80,000 to $100,000 a year for maybe 1 or 2 years. Well, I got all these kids. Your kids don't need you in their life if you're broke and you're not adding a positive environment to them. They don't. So again, there's another article. Black elites ponder the past year, right? Again. So Izelle said more like a duplex. Alvin Holler said, you were talking about the dances are called the countdown. Okay. You know what, Alvin, I've heard that before, but it's actually not that. It's not that group of people. It's actually different people. Alvin Holler, there is also a movie in the 1990s about the thriving Black community in Virginia called Inkwell. Yeah, Virginia has a ton of like these communities that you'll go into and people are like, oh, Newport News, Virginia Beach is it's hood. And there's a bunch of really well-to-do Black people and they're like, where do these people come from? Right? So logic reigns. Ray says, Tasha, they do not teach everything in school. They really don't. And I think that's benefited America for like 60 years now. And now it's biting America back in the ass because all these people are going to get these payday loans and these bad car loans and they're just barely getting by, right? Logic reigns supreme. Good men, we do exist. We're just very careful who we want to share our legacy with. So logic reigns supreme. I want to believe that. I truly do. I have a surplus of male cousins. It's very few women in my family. Like we have all aunts and every aunt had sons, like tons of sons, and just me, my sister, and 2 more girl cousins. So I'm around a lot of men. And yeah, what you're saying is true, but big booties catch them all the time. Let's just be honest. Like a lot of my cousins, they go in the military and they're in a military town. They're like, she's so beautiful, y'all. And you're like, but she but she's ratchet and she has kids. You're like, think about it, son. I know the booty's beautiful, but people get caught all the time, logic. I'm just saying. And so DeSoto, Texas won the news years ago for having more than 50% Black owners. Yes, business owners. It's very, very wealthy in DeSoto. What happens is people from New York come down and they go, well, I don't own a business and it's boring here. Well, if you're any town you're in, if you own businesses or own real estate or actually are a productive citizen in that sense, you actually do feel that. You actually see the difference. Coco Excellence. I'm Erica Shantae Williams on Facebook. I'm a truck driver. Hey, Izelle, seriously. I mean, I end up working with a lot of truck drivers and they're trying to buy that second truck and lease it out. Like, that's the story of my uncle. He broke his foot and he bought more than one truck. And so he rented them out while his foot was broke. So, I mean, it's a good way to make money. Like one of our clients on here, I'm trying to get them on for a show. Mom and dad drive trucks together. They're like a team. And then their son drives trucks. And then they end up buying a rental property together because they drove through Tampa, Florida all the time. And they saw them be really cheap. They're like, oh, cool. And then they drove through, I think, Georgia too all the time. So they work with turnkeys. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And so I'm going to save that towards the end. It's up there with all these ridiculous amounts of pages open. But again, another article, Black America and class divide, right? Because there's some wealthy Black folks you'll never, let me put it to you this way. There's some low-key people I've met who are millionaires. I would love to have my friend on, but he's in medical school and he finished his MBA and he is a millionaire. Why? He got out there in LA, UCLA, he ended up making some good money, you know, via being a student, via, you know, loans, via stocks, all that good stuff. And now a millionaire. And so sometimes people just think, Erica, that's just absolutely crazy. That's crazy, Erica. But it's the truth. The thing of it is those people exist. You just don't know them. All right. So again, economic gap. It's talking about that again. The talented 10th, where this guy named W. Du Bois believed that honestly, there's like a 10% of America that, you know, they're going to be super wealthy. They're going to be great. They're going to be the leaders. They're going to be business owners, and the rest are kind of going to, you know, follow their lead if they can. If not, then they're kind of going to be in poverty and crime. And it's the truth. If you look at average Americans, the business owner part of America is like 10%. It's always been kind of 10%. And the rest kind of independent operators as far as farmers and small business guys. But it's always been that 10% in America, right? Whether they're Black or white or whoever. And just a little fact on that. One in 10 Asians own a business, but I think a lot of that is on paper. That is just like tax purposes. 1 in 34 whites, 1 in 54 Hispanics, and 1 in 4 or 1 in 9 Blacks. Now, why is that important? Because people who at least have a side business have opportunity to do other things. And that's just being really honest. Just being really, really honest. So, can you guys hear me? So, okay. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I don't know if the internet went off or not. All right. So here, this is a joke. It says nerdy hire. It's kind of funny because I Googled Obama middle class jobs, and literally that's what popped up. All this right here popped up. CDLs, you know, math tutors, all kind of stuff. All right, the last part. Okay, Black Knight, can you hear me? Good. All right, last part. This is a guy's website named Lane. And, you know, we'll talk about him at another time, but just give you an example. People say, well, how do I get in on these deals? How do I get in on stuff? Here's a clear example. Okay. Interested in being a private money lender via first lien position, minimum investment $10,000, 3 to 18 months for a dividend-like return. So everybody doesn't have $20, $30, $40, $50,000. Even if some of you have $10,000, you might not want to buy a $50,000 house with a turnkey company. So here's a way for you to get started. Does that make sense? Okay. Here's another example. Second lien position, $5,000 minimum. This guy, commodity crops. Coffee, wood, coconut, it's a farm basically. $10,000 for maybe 1 year. Turnkey single family rental, $15,000. Another one, $25,000. JV partners. Why am I showing you this? Because many people will be like, Erica, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough. And honestly, the key is, how do you get $10,000 a year, you guys, in savings? You save $27 a day for a year. And people are gonna be like, well, I did the math and it's like 9,990. Okay, give it a rest. I got you. I feel you. But at the end of the day, if you want to have $10,000, you can. And again, he's talking about life insurance, he's talking about other passive ways of funds. You can fill this out. You don't have to be accredited. This is just one example. And this is simplepassivecashflow.com. You can go over there. It's a guy, he basically is an engineer. He's probably 32 at this point. And he moved to Hawaii because he has 11 rental properties, single family houses. So a couple in Birmingham, a couple in Atlanta, and a couple in, what do you call it? Indianapolis. Why is this important? Because people are overcomplicating it. They're just overcomplicating it. A lot of it is just raising the income up, and then investing it, right? It's a ladder system. That's why I love ladders. I love describing all this to you as ladders. But it starts with the income. If you're making 30 a year and you're like, Erica, I just don't have the wiggle room in my budget, you really don't. You're telling the truth. You're not lying. But the key for you is either use a recruiter to help you find other jobs or find a way to make money on the side. And everybody's gonna say, well, I want a side business, but I want to work from home on the computer. That's just not everybody's possibility. People think it is. Everybody's like, everybody can get on the computer and make money immediately. That's just not true. You know, like there's some guys who it's okay if they start a podcast or they start a blog or start a video channel, and they can work on it for a couple of years because they have that main job taking them through, right? That's really the key there. Every time I'm on this channel, I'm talking about, hey, you could go to a bank and get business lines of credit. People are like, what? No way. You're lying, Eric. I'm like, why would I come on TV? And why would I come on YouTube and keep talking about it if it was a lie? If you want to test me, go to your local bank and do it. Try it. I dare you. I double dog dare you. The reason people are like, these people have some America I'm not a part of is because they're not willing to find out what these people are doing to be a part of that America. Again, just like the lady I used the example the other day, complaining about black hair care suppliers. It's $1 billion industry. Does she really believe there's no black people with warehouses owning hair care products? That's crazy talk. So I literally posted a link and she's pissed because really her argument was black people ain't doing nothing. And that's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, okay? Zale says down here, I like talking money and I'm thinking about starting an LLC, Ubering so I can start to better understand pass-through taxes and running an LLC. Dude, you could have an LLC right now, Izelle, that just says Izelle Services. And, you know, you're learning and you're going to conferences and you get tax write-off for those conferences. I mean, let's just keep it simple, right? Even if you're not even putting money into those banks. But that's the truth of it. Like, people get so mad. They're like, I need to know the secret, Erica. That's the secret. I tell you guys the secret in every video on here is to really take action and actually go to the bank. And I know people who will go, oh, the bank said I needed one more piece of paper. And they give up. Ask you for one more piece of paper. Come on, bro. You know? So I always try to get you guys on here to be like, go to your local bank and open a business bank account. 53% of Black Americans are underbanked. What does that mean? That means sometimes they're going to cash checking places. They're not getting the services they need. Don't be like that. Don't be like that, right? Do not be like that. Jan Brown says, I'm Black and I'm making money in my own service. Yes. And I know you're in North Carolina where you have to kind of be more of a hustler. You have to kind of grow and have your business grow. And so, yeah, hit that online. You know, do what you got to do, people. I don't know how to say that name. It's good to be in Erica's live chat class. I mean, it just is. It just does. Logic reigns supreme. There are plenty of successful Black people, but the majority of unsuccessful overshadow and make it seem like, damn, you're all Black people broke. See, here's where I want to challenge you that. If I say pink elephant, look for the pink elephant. What's going to happen? Every day, your eyes are going to look for the pink elephant. Here's one of the reasons I don't support Tommy Sotomayor. Sotomayor, however you want to say it, and some of these angry man channels on YouTube. If every day you search for raggedy, violent Black people and Black women and Black men, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna find it every day. Even Vice TV made a joke, and he's actually been doing it for months now, where he would just go find stories of white people committing crime. And he just have endless stories. And he's like, if you look for it, all of a sudden it just appears everywhere. And it's a theory. I forgot the name of the theory, but it's essentially the theory is, and I'm gonna break it down instead of talking about theory scientifically, it'll bore you. But like, let's say there's a dominoes on your left, when you drive down the street. And then there's a Papa John's directly to your right. But every day you drive down the street, you only look at the Domino's on your left. What are you going to see? You're going to see pizzas coming out of there. You're going to see all kinds of employees. You're going to know what the employees look like. You're going to know everything about them. Why? Because every time you drive on that street, you look left. If I come to you and I say, man, that Papa John's is amazing, it's busy, you're going to be like, what? What Papa John's? It's the Papa John's you miss every time you drive the street. And this is the same with crime and black crime, right? Right now, what's going on in the jails? People don't realize this. The jail has dropped 50%. I wish I could pull the article up. My computer is a little slow. But white women going to jail has went up 50%. Now, what is the charges related to? Drugs, meth, hooker and prostitution, right? But cops wouldn't have been looking for this if it wasn't for meth just completely destroying the Rust Belt. All these white women, they wouldn't be like, why is that white woman out at night walking? Like, they've seen her before, but now because meth is kicking their butts, they have to start arresting these people. And that's the same theory, right? If you look for it, you'll find it. The same reason why I tell men and women, you have to be positive and you have to put yourself around people you want to be around. I went to this one conference and this black man and woman lived in the same city. Both loved real estate. I promise you, within 6 months, they were married. And I was laughing because they lived in the same city, lived in the same state, never saw each other before, and boom, they were at this conference about real estate together, and I'm talking to them, and I almost had to walk away because the vibe between them was so strong. I was like, damn, I see how y'all do, right? And so they end up marrying like 6 months later. Because it's what you're looking for. If you tell yourself all these black women is fat, and they undereducated and they got kids, that's what you'll see all day. I remember one week I said to myself, I want to see nerdy engineer black men. And I live in Austin and black people are like 7%. The next week, every day of the week, I saw a black man who was an engineer. Tall, nerdy, whatever. And I just said it out loud to myself and I wrote it in my journal. Not because I wanted to date them, but just because I felt like for a while, I was like, man, where are black people in town? It's all about your perception. It is very much a mindset thing. Henry Louis Jr. Gates, prime example. He lives in a neighborhood with his neighbors, and this is why you must speak to your neighbors. He went and locked himself at his house. He's got a freaking foot cast on, and he's trying to get back in his house, and he's doing everything he can to jiggle the doors, mess with the windows. His neighbor calls the police. The police come and they arrest the man. Okay, this is when this whole police acts stupidly. Now, why did Barack Obama say this? Here's a black man with a foot cast on, with a polo on. He's 50-something years old. He's a professor. Why would he be breaking into a house? This is clearly this man's house. But when you don't talk to your neighbors, and all your neighbors do is watch TV where people are criminals, that's what they assumed. They live across the street. It must be a black man breaking into a house. So again, it's all about, it's mindset, it's perception, it's what you're looking for. So what I tell people is do not watch Tony Sotomayor. Do not watch these angry MGTOW guys. Now, people are getting on me for this, but a lot of guys I've met who started angry channels, there's a guy, he's very popular right now on YouTube with his wife. He had this whole channel where he's just ranting every day about women for 2 years. And people, he had a big following. Well, he meets this woman, he falls absolutely in love, and he does a channel about him and his new family. Well, guess what? He got all this backlash. They're like, man, Levine, what are you doing with this woman, man? What are you doing? He's like, y'all, I got saved. I fell in love with a woman. I'm having kids. This is my life. He's happy. And that's what's happened with some of the MGTOW movement. There is about 20 guys who were, oh, I hate women. I hate women. I hate this, materialism. And then they were living with a woman. And some of them got married. And they were like, how could you portray us? Because let's be really honest. A true MGTOW man is a man who's out there making money, living life, and he's going to bump into a healthy, happy woman because he's healthy and happy. Not a dude living at his mom's house mad with women. So that's, I know I'm going to get so much hate from MGTOW men. I don't care. I'm not scared. But if you're really honest, if you're a healthy, happy woman, you're going to kickboxing classes, you're smiling, you're going to happy hours, you keep bumping into healthy, happy people. It's the same thing. So again, the same thing goes with money. If you're going to conferences about real estate, if you're going to conferences about being an insurance adjuster and making more money, all of a sudden you keep building up this momentum in that direction. Okay? So I'm going to read some of this so I don't get too behind. Okay. Where are we at? Okay, yeah, here we go. Lingerie, there are plenty of, okay, yeah, I've said that one. Azil, I'm gonna open up a business bank account today. Do it, man. I'm an investor in other businesses right now, but making money though, for sure. Like, here's the thing. I'm not telling you to run out and go buy a rental property tomorrow. I'm not telling you that. What I am telling you though is it's not as complicated as people are making it. If you are doing, and I'm an inch by inch, everything's a cinch person. If you're putting your money away in Acorn apps, as you swipe your card, the extra change goes away, or you're using a stash app, or you're buying $100 a week in stocks, or you're putting $100 away a week in Lending Club and these peer-to-peer note investing things, or you're every time you get $500, you go on Fundrise or Reality Club and you put in a percentage to get 8 to 12% on a real estate investment property. Like, you're doing what you need to do, because what's going to happen in 5 years, I'm going to talk to you in 5 years, you're going to be like, Erica, I'm balling. Because you roll, it's like a domino effect. The more you keep doing it, the bigger it grows. Now, what happens to a guy or girl who keeps investing for 2 years? Well, in 2 years, they'll have enough dough to roll out, pull that money back out and put it in something else. That's the key. It's about time. Now, some people are saying, well, Erica, these people are making $100,000 a year. They have extra money. Well, if that's not your situation, it's not your situation. Don't look over there. Stay in your lane. Focus on your lane. Again, focus on increasing your money. Okay. Apple Mac. Tommy does that because he knows he can make money bashing women. Oh, for sure. For sure. It plays into a narrative. And when I told somebody the other day that 36% of Black women are married, he almost looked like he wanted to punch me. Like, you're a liar. I'm like, dude, the CDC ain't got a lie. Wedding certificates ain't got a lie. All right, Coco Excellence. Exactly. Whatever you think about manifests itself, whether it's good or bad. Yes, sometimes if you guys follow my Facebook page, sometimes I fall into the rabbit hole of rectory and I have to back it up. I have to go, Erica, go back to posting about business, go back to posting about some positive stuff, because you are falling in the rabbit hole. Apple Mac, I saw you live on his conference. Listen, Glendon Cameron is like Uncle G to me. He's like, he's from a different perspective. Anytime there's somebody to me who's older than me by 20 years, they've lived a whole life in America that's different. Not everybody, let's make that very clear. If your Uncle Bob has been working at the factory and just coming home drinking 40s every weekend, no, I'm not listening to him. To me, Glenn Cameron is an example of somebody who went in the military, went through divorce, brought himself back up, done a lot of positive things. I like his channel. I think everybody can check it out. Oh yeah, Lingerie Free. It's based off TV. I mean, if I could do a whole web series about every time I travel in the airport and I ride either first class or I pick a seat near the front on the plane, people will be like, "Hey, so what do you do? Are you in college?" I'm like, "Oh, I finished college." "Oh, you have kids?" "No, I don't have kids." "What do you do for work?" "I have a business." What? I mean, like, it's like then the next 30 minutes on the plane is them asking me nonstop questions, unless I literally turn my laptop on, my iPad. I'm like, I really have to do emails, and then they'll stop. But this has happened every time I fly. What? You don't have kids? You have a business? What? Let me tell you something that really, like, it hurt me. But I was at the hospital, and it was right after my surgery, and I had an African nurse, and we had 3 African doctors on the floor that day. We had just African everybody, right? And so she was asking me my mom's name and my dad's name, and she was like, as I'm like in and out of drowsy, and she's like, "What's your dad's name?" And I'm so drowsy, I'm like, "Oh," and I'm getting ready to say his name. She's like, "Do you know your dad?" And this is an African nurse. And I sat up and I said, "Excuse me, bitch." And I told her my dad's name, and I said, "He died of a heart attack over 10 years ago. You better watch your fucking mouth." And sorry for all the language, but like, it was hurtful, because I said, in that perception, they are hurting Americans by thinking, oh, every Black person's this or every person's that. And you're destroying what is the good of America. That people's stories are unique. People's way they got here is unique, right? So I just had to share that because I probably wanted to curse. So anyway, something bad's gonna happen to Tommy. Oh, let's pray not, because then it'll just play into his Tommy Sotomayor injured, so whatever. I don't know. Were you thinking that Bob was going to pull you in? Oh, I believe you can get in the rabbit hole. Like the other day, I posted, Alvin, you probably saw it on my page, where I posted about a Black man who was 34 years old with 17 kids and 2 on the way. And people had the nerve to fight me about he's a good father. You don't know that. He was in jail for 4 years. So that means that Negro took a break for 4 years from having kids and still had 17 with 2 on the way. Right? Like, think about that. And those kids, if they all live in the same city, and I'm saying this sounds horrible and you guys might hate me, but that's how inbreeding starts. That's how people marrying their cousins and don't know their cousin starts. That's how, and I'm from North Carolina. There's a county called Robinson County, and they actually, when babies are born, they look for extra fingers and extra toes. They check them for rare heart diseases because the county has been isolated for a long time. And it also happens in some of the mountains of North Carolina. Okay, you need, there's a reason they don't want one dude running around making 20 babies in one place, because everybody will be related. And people had the nerve to fight me on it on my Facebook. And I'm like, common sense says we can have a universal standard that a black man that's only 34 shouldn't have 17 kids. If he wasn't shot and killed, that man probably would have 40 kids by the time he was 40. And he had a white girlfriend who was like, had 3, and they were going to school and they looked clean and they were dressed up, and she was pregnant again. And he had another woman pregnant on the side. So it's like these people knew about each other. They just have no morals. And so I call it out. I call out crap when I see it. And I think what happened is the newspaper reporter probably wanted to get a story from the family. How are you doing? You lost your son. Then they found out he got 17 kids, and that became the story. You know, that just became the story. So. Yeah, Alvin's right. Yeah, I'm serious, Alvin. I did. I said, you know what? I want to meet some more techie people to have conversation with. And when I focused, there they go. They appear like, poof, they appear. Oh yeah, I don't know how he gets people. He has a very negative vibe. Like, I think he has a nice smell, but other than that, I feel like it's like a slimy car salesman smell. TJ said how to start a real estate LLC business in California. Easy, just start one. I mean, watch all my other videos. They have them up there. I mean, I'm not even joking. Coco Excellence, Erica, you are a savage. I try not to be, but I just like, let's just be really honest. Like, we're really letting some things that are not appropriate slide in the name of being like, I understand your concerns. Like, there's gray in America for sure. I'm not even gonna try to play like there isn't gray in America, but a lot of things are black and white, right? What are the top 20% in America doing? They are getting married. They go to church or a religious organization weekly. It doesn't have to be church, but somewhere weekly. I forgot what it is. They tend to have, they tend to have a high paying job, and they tend to be what we would consider yuppies or hipsters. Now, why is that important? Because the top 20% of a country shows you what's going on. And now some people are gonna get mad at me because the top 20% are also people who are second, third generation going to college for stuff, right? So they did this survey of all these black people who went to college in the 80s, their parents. Second generation of the black kids going to college. And guess what? Yeah, mom and dad may have an English or teacher degree, but the kids had a tech degree. Now, when you see first generation black students, they usually get an English degree. Why is that important? Because I'm not saying it's easily, I'm not saying an English degree is easy or communication is easy, but it happens to be one of those that a lot of African Americans get, and it's a very bare bone degree. And second generation black and immigrants go get medical degrees and get tech degrees and get, it shows you, if you have several generations doing something, it changes each generation. But never fail, even if you don't have college, this recent survey has shown that people without college made big strides. Why? 6 years working and hopefully investing. I remember going to college, and there were kids that left our school and they weren't going to go to college. They were going to go military. I remember this one black guy, he was a UPS driver, driving the trucks. By the time I was 23, leaving college area, kind of coming back home, checking on home, he had a house, he had 2 cars. He had a side like car cleaning business or whatever, where he cleaned cars on the weekend. Like, this is a 23-year-old owning a big 4-bedroom house, and he was renting out rooms to guys who just came back from college. He was in a different financial position. Why? Because he put in work. Work and money, higher income is a life changer. So again, I'm gonna finish this up. I didn't mean to be on here this long, but I just want you guys to know that. So let's see. Tommy's a lame. He doesn't take care of his kids. Oh God, and then he's the stereotype. It's just disgusting. Logic reigns supreme. Love this channel. Very informative. Purchase tax lien soon in Cobb County, Georgia. Congratulations. Izelle, how to print money 101. I'm gonna watch that. Hey, it's a good one. Erica, don't forget America promotes native black propaganda around the world. That's why nurse probably said that. Remember, they told Fritz. Oh, Apple Mac. Let me hip you to this. My mom in the military, 26 years. She was in Germany, 1988. Let me see, 88? Yeah, 88. I don't know, I was a little baby. 88. This guy, little boy, ran up to her, 8 years old, and says, "Where's your tail?" Her and two other black soldiers. Again, my mom was there in the 80s and also in the 70s. And a woman got raped at a nightclub. They made every black person in the unit stand up. And my mom's like, "Why are the women being made to stand outside?" They were like, "Well, because if some of the black women were at the nightclub, then you should tell who did it. And let the German white woman walk around the black people in the military unit." This is on a military base in Germany in the fucking 80s. This isn't like, oh, this is 50 years ago. This is 1988. Like, straight up. I'm not even shitting you. That's why when my mom was like, whenever I'm talking about going to live in Spain or going to live, my mom was like, or Montreal. Like, my mom had a really bad experience in Montreal. She's like, bump that. Like, you don't want to live over there. Those trashy people. Because there's a side of Europe people don't know is really trashy. It's really trashy. They're really poor. The bathrooms are old, rinky, but everybody thinks, oh, I saw it on TV. Europe is amazing. Boo-boo. I hate to tell you, but in America, we live a standard of living with consistent water and internet connection that is unparalleled in the world. That's why we're not the best country in the world, but people come here and put their money here because they know. Okay, this is the best of the best. Okay. So anyway, all right. Look, I'm not gonna keep you guys here all day, but I might do one later tonight. Depends. There's a lot of topics people have been emailing me about or talking to me about, and again, right now it's busy because everybody left to Houston to work, and so our phones have been ringing crazy. We have a lot of bandit signs out, and so a lot of people who are like, "Hey, can you come paint my house? Can you fix my fence?" Because so anyway, that's kind of why I've been busy and not doing videos every day anymore. Also, it's tax lien season in New Jersey. There's a bunch of clients I have right now who they bought the course, and so I put the thing out there for you guys. If you bought the course, you got a discount and talk to me because it was crazy the amount of what's going on as far as in New Jersey, because New Jersey opened up a bunch of counties to online tax liens. So I put it in the course. As ways, the links are gonna be below. And you guys, thank you for coming out today, and hopefully you're out there changing your life. Later, guys. Let's see.